want to welcome all of you here tonight and thank you from the bottom of my heart. New friends and old friends and family and clients. My life would not be the same without every single one of you. It's such a special revelation to me, that Ubuntu philosophy, that just like in the African tradition, the community is everything, and that without the community, not one of us is able to express our gifts. If you're an author and there's nobody who will read your books, everything that I've spent my last year and a half doing is an absolute waste of time. So thank you. I really feel your support and your love and encouragement, and I'm just so grateful that every one of you is here with me tonight on this special, special occasion, the launch of my very, very first book. I think when that little nudge comes, and I definitely felt a nudge to write this book after my mother died a year and a half ago, I felt this power or this presence, and I went with it and trusted that it's what I need to do, and I've just followed my heart. I think the number one person to thank here tonight is Spirit God. I thank God for all the inspiration that I was gifted with. I seriously did not have the words in myself and the capacity to write this book. Even my husband reminds me every so often, he says, "You should really read your book." And I know, I read it and I reread it, and I still keep finding things that I forgot that pass through me, and I know that there's some incredible wisdom there, and I have to keep rereading it to remind myself that I'm human and we all make mistakes. And so it became my quest, this whole thing about teaching or helping people access self-love. And that is probably the most important message from my book. We all do it. We are our own worst critics. But in the journey of the book, I have actually got 3 chapters on love to really, really, really thrash it out and get to the bottom of what real love is, because we are so fixated by the romantic love and what the world and Hollywood say love is. But if that is the only message that I get across with my book, and it's self-love, if I can get everybody in the world to love themselves, I would be the happiest person alive. But another thing that I learned through the process of the book, and it was quite humbling, was to realize that I am not so different to anyone else. I came to the realization after a cross-questioning of myself by asking myself, "Nicolette, why do you feel alone in a crowd? Why do you feel like you're so different? Why is everybody else normal and you're the freak?" And the answer that came to me was, because, Nicolette, you're focusing on yourself and you're focusing on your differences. And when I started to draw up an imaginary list of the things that I had in common with other people, it grew and grew and grew from, we all have a body and a mind and a soul. We all have emotions. We laugh when we're happy and cry when we're sad. And I went through the whole list. You know, we have basic needs and we have emotional needs. We all want to feel loved, respected, and, you know, supported and appreciated. And we all, not one of us wants to suffer. We all have that in common. We all have a common pursuit of happiness. Everybody else is as vulnerable as I am. And everybody else thinks like I do. And everybody doesn't want to feel alone or separate. I started to draw into people and realize that by focusing on my separateness, I was creating fear for myself. And fear was just making me feel I need to compete, I need to hoard, I need to protect myself, I need to make sure that I never run out. And it makes you jealous, and it makes you all these things that are steeped in ego. And when I got to this realization that I am no different from anyone else, I could stop pointing the finger at others and start noticing that every single thing that I pointed out that I didn't like in other people was in me. And that realization was really, really deep for me, because then I got to the place where I could be authentic and I could confront myself and say, "Nicolette, you are a liar. You are a cheat. You are a murderer. You are a racist. You are every single thing you've ever accused anyone else of." And you know, I got to that place where I really, really felt sorry, and I said, I'm sorry. I don't want to live unconsciously anymore like that. And it started an awakening in myself, because from that point on, every time I acted, not every time, I don't always catch myself. I'm human like everyone else. You know, we all make mistakes. That's what we do. We're human. But I started to notice when I did it. And then it started to get less and less and less. And I started to realize that I have power in where I put my thoughts. I can focus on what I have that's different to others, or I can focus on what I have, the samenesses, like I like to call them. And I realized that to focus on my differences from others is to create a total state of disempowerment. It weakens me. And when I focused on our togetherness, that we are all one love, we are all the same family, we are all one blood, there's nothing different about any one of us, then I found my power, and then I stepped into this amazing place of peace. And so I think that is probably the most important message that I got, where I found my most healing.
The evening was an absolute success. It was really lovely to hear Nicolette's story, and I'm looking very, very forward to reading her book.
I truly think she's an inspiration to us all.
Heartwarming, and it was deep, and it was beautiful.
I was very impressed.
It's the most beautiful evening, a combination of so many things in Nicolette's life, and I must say I had a good giggle.